Hey guys, I'm just going to go over a quick build kind of thing for DH Zerg DPS build. I'm going to go over the armor, the stats that I use, the trait lines, all that jazz. I'll go over some variables you can look at, and then I'll go over some footage, replay kind of stuff, talk about my decision making, some of the good things I've done, some of the bad things I've kind of done. Start off with the armor. I'm wearing full Berserker, the Scholar Runes. That's just going to give you the optimal amount of DPS. When you're looking at DPS for DH, you want to try and hit 55% crit chance. Because with our traits in Fury, it's going to take us up to a flat 100% crit chance. If you are going to change any of these stats, you don't want to go above 55. You'd rather be on the lower side, in the 49 point whatevers, so that those additional stats aren't wasted. That way you can put them somewhere where you can use them into power or vitality or wherever you're putting them. For my weapons, I wear Marauder on these. I got Force and Rage. You can run. Force is really strong, but for the second sigil, you can kind of run anything you want. You have options like Impact or Hydromancy or Energy for more dodges. All those are very good, just like the Rage for the quickness. Makes me burst a little faster, get my spells out quicker. On my Scepter, I run Force. Then on my Focus, I run Energy. Pretty good stuff. And then for my trinkets, I wear Full Marauder on these 5. And then for my amulet, I actually have a Dragon amulet. Kind of sets me at a perfect spot for my crit chance, and then gives me a little bit more crit damage. So it kind of came out nicely. If your dragon sets can be harder to get, luckily ANET gave us a free legendary amulet that you can still go get. It's just gonna take a good bit of PVE to do. So that is an option to get a free legendary amulet. In terms of the build, sorry, I still have that on. I'm in combat. If I can get out of combat, okay. In terms of the build, we are going to be running uh, middle, middle, bottom. This minor trait just gives a little symbol. It's going to buff our damage a bit. Nice stuff. This trait, we only take it because it's the best one out of the 3. The other 2 are pretty not that great. Additional 7% damage. The only way we cause burning is by passively triggering our F1. If we have multiple DHs, that's going to be a bit more burning, but it's not too reliable damage, additional damage. This is going to make some vulnerability, and they're going to do a little bit more damage. You're going to do a little bit more damage to vulnerable foes. Kind of a nice little buff. That makes some vulnerability to cover up some of the more important condies that we put on them, like in MOB and stuff like that. This is going to be a huge buff to our damage. It's going to give us 240 power when our greatsword's out, 120 baseline. And it's also going to reduce the recharge of our greatswords. That means we're going to be doing our spells faster. We're going to be hitting harder. That's going to apply to all our spells while we have our greatsword out. So our traps that we have down here, those 2 are going to do more damage. Your Sword of Justice is going to do more damage. That applies to everything. Symbolic power. Symbols do increase damage. We got it's pretty good for a minor trait because we are throwing down symbols. We have one on our greatsword and we have one on our scepter. And then lastly, we're running Symbolic Avenger. Symbols, when people are hit by our symbols, we get bonus damage, stacks up to a 10% total damage. And since we're always throwing out our symbols, we basically constantly have a 10% damage modifier. In Radiance, we don't really care about this. You make a light aura. You can blind. It's not really practical because this has a 3/4 second cast time, which is pretty long in the heat of a fight. And the blind doesn't really matter. So the only time you're really casting your F1 is if you see somebody who's kind of straggled away, or you see if the group has no stability, so you can yank them. Other than that, you're probably not pressing your F1 too often. In Resolution, when you have a heal skill, this is going to buff our crit chance, so that's pretty good. The other skills are also not really that great. Right-handed strength is decent. It's a possibility. You can rework your stats to fit it. It's going to constantly give you a precision bonus, so you can actually run some like maybe Valkyrie armor to increase your HP and your power. That'd be pretty decent. But the additional power for your one-handed weapons, like your scepter, it's gonna be negligible. It's not worth really running. I just take this because resolution's really strong for us. Uh, renewed whenever you kill something. Your F1's renewed. Don't really care. Whatever. Uh, we do increase strike damage by resolution. Great stuff. I seeing a theme. Radiance is all about resolution. Gain ferocity and critical chance. So if you wanted to, it is possible to take your critical chance to 45%, and then with this minor trait, it's going to give you a 10% increased chance to crit on burning foes. It's not reliable, but you could allocate those stats somewhere else. I just play for the reliability of critting. So if you're running like a lot of DHs, you might more easily get away with it. Or if you're running like a burn, some sort of burn firebrand or burn core guard, could be good to work around. And then lastly is righteous instinct, which is a huge trait for us. It gives us a little bit of might. It gives us more critical hit chance. It says 25% when I have resolution, but I feel like it doesn't do it practically. It's at 55. Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking about Fury. So yeah, Fury will give us 20. But yeah, I was thinking about them the wrong way. But still, an extra 25% just from having resolution, huge. That's a big boost to our precision. Lastly is the DH traits, and you don't really care about this F1 for this one. This one, you're going to slow things, like hit your traps pretty strong, reduces the recharge rate, which is huge. They don't really have a huge recharge rate in the beginning to begin with, but knocking them down a bit is pretty good. This one, blocking attack, I think we don't really care about that. Zealot's aggression, increased damage to crippled foes, just passive cripples enemies. I mean, Justice's passive effect, my god, I can't talk, is going to be pretty strong. It's going to make a decent amount of cripples. Also, your Test of Faith will cripple when people run through it. So that's going to be at some additional cripples plus whatever else people are putting on. Things should be pretty crippled to get this damage buff. I would say if there's one trait in here that was better, there's no traits in this line that are better. Hunter's Determination is pretty garbage. And then Bulwark, I don't know. Could be decent, I guess, but it's not. I'd rather just have the damage buff. Pure Sight is, I don't know, you're pretty much gonna be in melee range for 90%, of your damage life. So it's not really too much. I'm actually not even sure whether you get like the 15% from being further away or from being closer. So not really sure. And then lastly is Heavy Light, gain stability when disabling an enemy, which is whatever. We have a pull on our F1. We have and then we have the pull on our greatsword. So that's kind of going to happen a little bit, but the main thing is dealing increased strike damage to disabled foes. So if we do things like listen for a grav well, if guardians are getting interrupts with our walls, those are going to be buffs to our damage. If you wanted to, you could drop Zeal, go a little bit more team oriented. It's a little bit. You're gonna take a little bit of a hit to your damage though, and you're gonna take Unscathed Contender. What does this do? Boons. Don't really care about this. Then you're gonna get boons. There's more damage for having Aegis. We only apply a little bit of Aegis to ourselves with this build, especially like when we pop our F3. That's pretty much the only time. That's the only time we really care about that. But hopefully our Guardians are putting it on us, and maybe NGs can Purity of Purpose some more Aegis onto us by chance. I think if you cleanse Burning with Purity of Purpose, it'll convert it into Aegis. Gain Resolution, we activate a Virtue. Huge, we love Resolution. And Resolution lasts longer. Huge, great, we love it. We're going to come up here to the top again to Inspiring Virtue. Deal increased damage after activating Virtue. That's going to be really good to combo with your F3 can also, I mean, your F2 is going to be a little bit more defensive, and then your F1 is going to be, I don't know, you have 3/4 of a second to kill. You can just, whip it out there. In condition, damage, duration, fatality, whatever. We don't do condition. We don't care. Virtues reduce recharge, so that's kind of important. Like normally this is a 60-second cooldown, 51 seconds with that, so it's pretty nice. Then Indomitable Courage. This is going to be the only bit of the team support that you have. When you activate your F3, it's also going to give stab to your allies, so it's pretty helpful. It can also help you more reliably burst by yourself. So in case your Guardian's kind of struggling a bit, you could help out a little bit and do this. I definitely take Virtues if you're playing with a Guardian that isn't as strong as some of the people who've been playing Guardian for years. Now, in terms of weapons, as I said, we're running Greatsword, Scepter, Focus. Greatsword is your main damage weapon. The auto attack is fine. It's an auto attack. The Whirling Wrath is going to be your main damage. It's going to do a ton of damage. You can spin. You can move while you're doing it. I accidentally just dodged while casting it. So you can spin, do good damage, keep moving. Very strong. Your leap is it's a pretty good distance leap, and it actually does pretty good damage if you hit somebody with it and crit. You can hit up to, on like squishy targets, maybe like some Necros or Ellies, you could hit up to 10, 11k even. Generally though, if you're hitting like frontline with it, it's like 3, 4k, a little bit. It's also going to blind, which is fine. It does a little bit of healing. Just make sure when you're casting this, if you have something targeted, to either take off your target or make sure that's a direction you want to go, because you do not want to be running this way to get back to your group and then accidentally do this, and then you're just boned. There's nothing you can really do. And then lastly is your 5, which is a pull, and it's decent. If you see the enemies not have stab, it's pretty good. Just yank them. And then on our weapon swap, we have Scepter. Does a little bit of damage. Nothing too much. The symbol actually does a good bit of damage. Stacks it up pretty high. And then that'll also start activating your Symbolic Avenger. I'm going to get out of combat so I can put that back on and show you how quick Symbolic Avenger can stack up for your extra 10% damage. Should only take 2 ticks. Zeal, taking this one, this one, this one. You just throw down 3, 5. There you go. You're already at max. And then the 3 skill is just a single target mob. You can see something that's out of position, just throwing a mob on them. Kind of cast it on cooldown. If you're in your scepter within 900 feet. The 4 skill is going to be just a little bit of damage. It does kind of just ticks them out a bit. You just kind of throw it out there on somebody. Maybe somebody a little bit softer. If you throw it onto like a DH or a Necro or like a Berserker Warrior, something like that, it'll do enough damage that they second guess leaping into the fray. The main reason we're taking focus though is for this last skill, Shield of Faith. Mostly because it is a blast finisher. It's the only blast finisher that we have, so anything that you can help blast the smokes with or blast a water is super helpful. Additionally, if you wanted to, I get out of combat again, you can run a torch instead of your focus. The 4 skill is pretty negligible. It's an unblockable projectile, so it's kind of nice. It's really short duration, but it will burn. Also, if you cast it while in melee, so you can get the burn buffs from Zeal. This is more important skill though. This is a decent damaging cleave that removes a condition, AoE. So it does a good bit of damage. It's kind of a small cleave, but it does pretty good damage. So it's up to you if you want a more damage focused offhand. You definitely want to go torch, but I usually just take focus because I think the blast is just really strong. So your virtues are also pretty important. Uh, Def one. It's a long distance pull. It's got 1200 range, I believe. You just grab it, hit somebody with it. They're revealed for a pretty long time, 5 seconds. You just give them a yank. You just watch their bar. If you see that any second they don't have stab, you just give them a yank. It does have a longer cooldown. Um, the pull itself has a longer cooldown than the cooldown of the throwing the spear. So you might not always get it uh, when you throw somebody. So if I throw it right now, it still has 20 seconds on the actual pull itself, so it's actually double as long as casting it. The F2 is going to be for movement. If you need to catch up or anything like that, this is mainly what you're going to do. It cleanses a mob, which is huge, and also cleanses 2 condies on yourself. It's going to be a pretty big heal, 4k heal. So you're just going to throw it. You just leap. It can get interrupted. It's pretty often interrupted, so it's not going to be like a save your life kind of skill, but it is pretty strong. Then lastly is your F3, which you can pop when you're getting ready to burst. You go in stealth, you just go boop, you just lay down your crap and you start doing damage. Right? Pretty simple stuff. It has a huge cooldown, which is unfortunate, but well, even longer if you're not taking virtues, only by 9 seconds, but still. Your shelter is your heal skill. Blocks for 2 seconds. So it's kind of a little bit of a get out of jail kind of card. It's not a get out of jail free, but it's kind of just get out of jail because you can still be interrupted by multiple spells while casting this, such as a Ellie static field, a guardian staff wall, um, a thief's Bassy venom. The most likely one you're probably going to run into is guardian walls, just because their guardians are in every party and they constantly through the wall to try and do exactly that, trying to interrupt people. So you do have to watch out for that. It is a nice heal though, it'll frequently save your life. I mean, even if you have to just pop it and you just don't move, you might be able to last through a bomb if you just stand there and then you can dodge out of the way when it's done. For utilities, we're taking Procession of Blades, Test of Faith, Sword of Justice. The main two are your Test of Faith and Procession of Blades. Possession of Blades will put down a trap that spins around, does good damage. And then your Test of Faith will put down another circle, and they only take damage if they pass through it. Oh, I didn't pass them through. Okay, that guy did. Lucky stuff. Is about 5k. You can see here how you can actually chain multiple things. But it does good damage if they pass through it. And lastly, we're taking Sword of Justice, which just does a little bit of damage. It's more of a kind of like a harass spell. It does about 3k. So just a little bit harassing from range, which is nice. And then lastly is the bread and butter. This is a get out of jail free. The heal is get out of jail because you can't escape with it. But the renewed focus is get out of jail free because you cannot be interrupted or anything. You're totally invulnerable. You just pop it. You can walk around. You're fine. You can pass through walls. You can pass through anything. And it's gonna recharge all your virtues. So if you just start casting it, you start spamming F3. You can get your shield up. It has it's an instant cast, so you just pop it right up and you start blocking. Pretty strong. In terms of damage, the general rotation, if you get a stealth engage, you get out of combat. We're going to start off in our scepter, and we want to focus on energy. So we're going to start right here. Driver says, smoking and power. Smoke fields, we blast. We start approaching. You're probably not going to have these shields on you by the time you get there. They don't last very long. 3 seconds, I think. Or 4 seconds. You might have them on. I wouldn't really count on it, though. Say they're just kind of sitting there stacked up. What you're going to want to do is as soon as you get in within greatsword leaping range, you're going to go boom, boom, boom. You can drop that, and then you're going to spin. I fucked up the spin. But yeah. The main important thing when you're doing your rotation is to wait for my cooldowns. I'll kind of go over it slow-mo on the golems. Basically, we're throwing this to get our symbolic Avenger up and just do damage. It does good damage. All right, and this is all implied from stealth. You know, this is like first engagement kind of thing, where you're gonna get maximum efficiency out of your bomb. So you're gonna go drop this, boom. You're gonna leap in with your greatsword, and the first thing you're gonna do when you get to here, you're gonna get your procession of blades going. This has a half-second cast time. While that's casting, you can put down Test of Faith because it has no cast time. It's an instant cast, so you can just plop it down right away. Anytime you're doing whatever, you can throw down Test of Faith. And the great thing about that is that it does give you protection for a couple seconds, so it can nearly save your life sometimes. Right after you drop those two, so you're going to go Procession of Blades first, and then Test of Faith. You're going to drop down your Symbol of Resolution, and then you're going to start spinning and following the Zerg as best you can. And that's pretty much it. Then you start auto attacking. If they're starting to get away from you, throw down your Sword of Justice. You just keep following them. You follow them, you follow the commander. You just keep going. And that's the general rotation. It's pretty easy. When you're in the middle of a fight, you don't have the perfect engage. Hopefully you've been holding on to your F3, so that way when you do charge in, you can charge in, go boom, boom, boom. You start spinning. I mean, look at it. Pretty good burst right there. Pretty quick and pretty easy. If you execute it perfectly, well, it's an obnoxious spot to stop. If you execute it perfectly, you can hit up to like 49k damage per second on the opening engage. And we'll see that in a couple clips, I believe.
One up this time.
Okay. In this clip, we're getting ready to push. We have an ally down here, Bullyfoot. We are stealth engaging, getting ready to go. You'll notice that I'm trying to play
down left.
In front. I kind of get stuck behind here, but I do try to get in front of the driver. Yeah, basically when you're getting ready to engage, you want to be the first person to hit somebody, right? If you're playing DPS, you want all your damage to come out as surprisingly as possible. So you'll notice here that I am quickly trying to anticipate where our driver is going to go, and then I'm going to place my damage accordingly.
Come far left, boys, all the way left.
The driver actually gets snagged right there.
On CCs right here.
I see them pushing right here.
Reflects at our feet. Just bomb right here, boys. Bomb the bus.
Scepter down. Traps down.
Stairs. Bomb the stairs. Bomb stairs. Bomb stairs.
Great sword. Symbol.
Just keep grinding
Spin.
right here. Everything we got right here. Resistance down.
Look at downs. That whole sequence right there takes about 5 seconds, I believe.
Here, big stab at my feet. Reflects at our feet. Just
so right here, that's where my first hit this block, hitting some Aegis.
Bomb right here, boys. Bomb the
Everything
bus
starts
stairs.
coming
Bomb
out.
stairs. Bomb stairs. Just keep grinding right here. Everything we got right here.
And bomb. We're out. Right? That's where the DPS ends. Nearly 100k. 16.7k spike. Just by anticipating and getting your stuff down quick, you can really blow somebody up. People are pretty predictable in this game once you start learning where they're going.
Down. Keep pushing. Big stab right here. Roll through, roll through, roll through, roll through. Everything we fucking got, boys.
We regroup.
Reverse in 3, 2, 1. Reflex.
I kind of make a mistake here. I go into Scepter, even though I know we're about to start pushing. I probably should have just stayed in Greatsword. I could have done more damage, but it's not hurting anything too bad. My traps are back. I kind of overextend. Now that's a big problem that you can easily do on DH is overextend, because you do have those safety nets in Shelter and Renewed Focus. It's definitely not something you want to rely on, but if you do catch yourself doing it, just you got to be quick with the buttons and finding where the driver is. You see, right when I recognize I've started overextending.
Boys get bomb pushed up.
They turn, I dodge, Shelter, find the driver.
All CCs at our feet.
Then you'll see right here, I'm anticipating the push from the driver. He's facing up. He's getting ready to push. I go in. I drop Test of Faith, the instant cast one.
Big
And then I
grinds,
get
big
stunned
grinds, big grinds.
immediately, and I can't pop Procession of
Big
Blades.
grinds, let them come
I
in.
hit
This is
renewed
one, one, one
focus.
right here. Pushing forward in 3.
Driver pushes
2,
in, I
1,
push
step
in
up,
with
roll
him.
through, step up, roll through.
Stab,
Spike this
or
right here,
put
boys.
down
Left side
the
rock, left side rock. Going
traps,
down
and I'm
3,
pushing forward
2,
still.
1, all the way down the hill, all the way down.
And with that, they're pretty much
Give me lines
cracked.
pulls, lines
The
pulls,
fight's
lines pulls.
over. We just gotta chase him down.
Yep.
Okay, this fight here, we have 11 people. It looks fairly even. I don't really know how many numbers they have, but it looks fairly even. But we definitely have the engage heavily. I don't know if they know we're there. But this is going to kind of show, why you want to be the first one there. We have another DPS here, Elog. Looks like he's playing Berserker Warrior. So we're going to probably hit roughly at the same time. We'll see the damage. He kind of flares out there, but I'm going straight at them. Scepter, 2, going down.
On it, reflex in center. Big pulls here, boy.
Leap in. I test a faith first. Kind of an accident. I mean, it's going to be an extra half second for Procession of Blades to get out there. If I drop it, great sword symbol, spin. They're cracked. They're done. They're gone. It's that easy. Let's just check the time on our damage again. Come back. Let's come back right here.
Line CC's right here in the center. Big stab on it.
All right. My Scepter 2 is going down right now at 4 seconds.
Big pulls here, boys. Big pulls here. Bomb. A lot of traps here. A lot of traps here. Roll through these traps.
In 5 seconds again, we are at 158.3k doing 38k damage per second. I mean, you're looking at these downs. I mean, the ADH is 60% of the damage, right?
Go through traps.
I think that speaks for itself.
That was funny.
All right, here we're going for a stealth engage. They're already engaged with the purple tag up there. So we should have a pretty clean engage as long as they don't know that we're coming.
I got extra stuff.
Wonderful. Launch CC, side right side. Big stab.
So Scepter, traps, spin,
over here, don't go any further.
symbol spin. And then I actually popped both of my safety nets there because it got really hot really quick. But I'm back in there. I'm just spinning. I'm staying with my guardians, staying in front, trying to do the damage. Now here you're going to see a weakness of the DH in that when enemies start to scatter, that's when it's a huge fall off in damage. Some other classes can deal with it a bit better, but DH really struggles at keeping up with scattered enemies. Alright, this is a fight outside West Keep. This is going to be an example of taking a good thing, a really good fight that you're taking, and then kind of flipping it on yourself and killing yourself. You're going to see that it starts out really strong for me. I'm doing good damage, and then I goof up real bad.
Coming right side. On CC's in this big group here.
So I go through the standard rotation, Scepter, traps, spin. At this point, 31k damage per second, 134 total damage. Right? This is a brilliant engage. This is nearly perfect on my part.
Like this, come right side down the hill.
Staying with the commander, just kind of hanging out, auto-attacking.
Alright, come back left. Hard left, boys.
I even linger. See, you can see me starting to get too confident. I start to linger here. Linger too long. I'm throwing down my symbol and my scepter.
Straight ahead, 12 o'clock.
And this is, so I have no real abilities right now on this push. I mean, my draps are about to come down. I fly in, and I immediately realize that I fucked up, so I'm going for shelter. And then I try to go for my traps. Then I just get fried right away. It's too much. I make the quick call out. I got smoked, and then I get rezzed, but still, that's something that should never happen. That's just overextension and being negligent.
Focus is right side. They're low.
I got smoke.
Get our pug. Resist.
I do get up. We finish the fight. Purple tag kind of pushes them into the gate. That's about it.
On CC's right ahead.
Okay. In this fight, you can see that we're stealth engaging. Just watch my cooldowns in this one. This is kind of a fight that shows kind of the DPS lacking when when you kind of fall out of your rotation, or things kind of get mismanaged. So I pay attention to that during this.
Few pulls on this. Half of them don't have stab. Big stab right here. In
The
center
driver's
lane,
pushing
right side.
up.
Stay
I'm
right
kind of
side,
lingering
reflex on
behind.
top.
I know we're not going to push in. I have a second to
down
kind of
here.
keep casting on these.
Let them cross the bridge. Let them cross the bridge.
So there, I throw down my traps. Now I was hoping to have the traps sit there. I didn't consider these people running from like the sentry to the bridge to trying to like commit suicide. I just anticipated them like running off the cliff to safety, you know, not trying to get to the Zerg. But they run through my traps, and now I'm on a 20-second
Ground
cooldown.
guys behind us.
I'm gonna skip ahead a few seconds.
There's anyone getting day
You can see I still have 10 seconds left. If they were to push right now, I would be nearly
powers,
damageless. Right?
2, 1 and power soup.
We're getting ready to push. We're
Lines
kind of
up.
posturing. We're looking at each other. They go into stealth.
CC's right here. Come left side.
We just
Hop on left
say
side, hop on left
fuck
side.
it, and we
Roll
just
through this
dodge
front line
through,
now. Then
evades,
back
double
line, boys,
dodge,
back this back line.
turn, do damage. I again waste my
Everybody
traps
rise.
on nothing.
Fuck.
Heal up. I'm really just trying to catch up. I don't have much to offer
All right, full dive.
right
in
now
3,
during this whole
2,
part right
1,
here.
full dive now. Water coming down in 3.
All I have is my great
Step
sword.
down.
It does decent
1,
damage.
water on my tag. Water on my tag.
I'm
Down
listening
this
to
right
the
here, push down, roll
commander.
through the choke.
Ready? He says
Roll
go
through
to the
choke in
choke. I'm
3,
going through.
2,
I'm
1,
way
big stab
ahead.
right here and roll through
I'm
bridge,
not.
bomb
I'm
left
really
side,
not
bomb left
afraid in
side.
this situation. I
Reflex
drop
on
my
feet.
traps. I finally get back
Spike this right
in
here, spike this right here.
rotation.
Oh my god, dude, I get
Symbol,
so many
spin,
fucking numbers
damage.
from wall reflect.
Something you could do instead of taking Sword of Justice, you can also take Wall of Reflection. Very good spell. Can help keep you safe. It does good damage. So yeah. Try and make sure you're popping your traps at the proper time. Not like I did there. This one here is actually a Berserker clip. Let's see, I'm not the most proficient with Berserker, but I put in decent work. It's kind of the same thing as I've been saying before, just anticipating where the driver is and going forward.
And CC's running that stack.
We're
Big
stealth
stab on it.
engaging. They have no idea. First thing I'm going to do is try and get into combat. I'm going to use the 4 skill, and
Everything
then
we fucking got, boys. Bomb it.
pop my
Bomb it, bomb it,
Signet
bomb
of
it,
Fury, pop
Go left side,
longbow,
left side, left side. Roll left, roll
heal,
left, roll left.
longbow.
I got fucking water in 3, 2,
I'm
1.
going to
Water
swap.
on
Or
feet,
I'm
second
going
this
to stay in
down,
longbow.
second this
Sorry, I
down,
thought I
second this down.
swapped.
Hold.
Now I
Run this down, boys,
swap,
run this
start
down,
doing
run this
damage
down,
with my
run this down.
greatsword.
Good.
Roll left, get our hammer train, get our hammer train.
Just kind of
roll this
sitting
down
in
next to us,
top of
roll
them,
this down
staying
next to
with
us,
the
keep bombing here,
tag.
keep bombing here. We're literally cracking them right here. We're super low, keep super low, super low. Reflex, moving forward in 3, 2, 1. Down to this clump, to this clump right here.
Just keep
Spike,
doing
spike, spike,
damage.
spike, spike. Roll it left side. So many fucking down here. So
See
many
this
down
huge
here.
clump
Bomb
of
these down, bomb
downs.
these downs, bomb these downs.
I
Good
grind
fucking bomb,
damage
boys.
off of them and take top of
Good
the
fucking
charts, and
bomb,
it's
dude.
easy.
Holy shit.
And they're all dead. Easy as that. Alright, this is a little fight. We have a secondary group with us. It's not just our 17. It looks like it's pretty big for us. But it's also not just our 17 fighting Punk.
Mirror reflex right here, boys.
So
Big
we're
stab on
pushing
this, right side.
forward. And you'll see in this clip I linger in Scepter for a long time. I don't even use my traps for a long time. I never really push in until the very moment I know we're going to crack them.
Bomb this choke right here. Bomb this choke right here.
So I'm just
All
chilling.
these dorks
I
right
got
here,
my
they're
2
stacked.
down. I'm throwing
Wait
out
for the burn, wait
my
for the burn,
Sword of
wait for the burn.
Justice. I'm just kind of
Reflex on this
harassing at
bridge.
this point.
Hug
We're
this
kind
right
of
side,
just
hug this
chilling.
right
They
side.
have a
And
bit of
burn
an
this right
advantage
here,
with
burn
this
this right here.
choke. We stab up. I go flying in. I use my F2. Kind of risky, but I just kind of go for it.
Spike it, boys. Spike it. Pushing all the way through in 3.
I get
2,
ready to
1.
bomb.
Roll
I
through
drop
there,
my
bomb this back line,
F2. I
water coming out.
swap. Traps down. Great sword out.
In 3, 2,
Damage
1. Water
time.
these downs. Bomb it.
They're all
And get
dead.
your fucking bags. Holy shit.
I mean,
Get your fucking
look at this.
water coming down in 3,
Me, Aru,
2, 1.
and they're dead. You know. Now, obviously, people are casting their spells forward along the bridge, but I mean,
Water in these downs. Bomb it. And get your fucking bags. Holy
that's
shit.
DPS damage. That's DH damage right there. I'm not even really going to show the full clip of this one. Nothing too spectacular happens, but this is just kind of an example of opening burst. So if you look about here, we'll just end it right here. Maybe you just compare the numbers. I mean, just the insane amount of bursts. Obviously, they're going to catch back up. Scourge is going to catch back up. It's going to have a lot more consistent damage than DH. I'm auto attacking. From here on, for the next, 20 seconds. So I'm just kind of auto attacking, hanging out. But it kind of just shows the crazy burst that DH has. They get maxed out at like 30. I want to say 30. Ever hit 30? 31. 33. But yeah, that's just kind of the burst. Another burst. Unfortunately, we don't end up winning this one. But you see them, they're all just fucking standing right there. You know, and just watch. You're gonna see your driver. There's the party. There's the group, and then I'm right here. We have 8 people in comms. I'm the only burst. We have a herald who does decent, and then we have 2 scourges. The rest is support. You're gonna see me as soon as I know that the driver's pushing. Unfortunately, I don't have comms. As soon as I know that he's pushing, I am flying in as fast as I can. Boom. Drop it all. 30k. Unfortunately, we just don't have the ass in this fight to, get things finished. That's kind of the drawback to DH is that, you can burst like a motherfucker, but after that, you're just kind of left to your devices, right? I do end up getting out, and I look at the DPS log, and I kind of want to see that. This is the first time we've kind of looked at it. If we look here, Test of Faith, huge. I think I used it twice. When we look at this initial burst, 31k. Look at this spike to it, and then it kind of peters. Obviously, we're kind of on our heels right here. If I was in the fight and could still, Whirling Blade, drop my symbols, kind of thing, it would be higher, but still, it's not going to be. You can come close to this until the traps are back up. Just another quick burst. You can see the driver's right here. I know exactly where he's going. I'm leading the charge. I want to be the first one in. Death is stacking up. Symbol. Traps. Great sword. Spins. I don't know if we I didn't see if we hit 30k here, but still. Unfortunately, we actually look like we cleaned up this one really well. We get a lot of downs, but then we actually get ash jammed by Heart. And they gobble us up pretty easily, since we're pretty much out of resources. And I just go down with the ship.
Fucking corral them in the
This is a quick clip of
behind us.
me fucking myself. You can see that I'm quite a ways away from the driver. Way too far away for comfort, especially since I have no stun breaks or anything on my bar. So if I get caught, I'm most assuredly dead. My guardian is right on the driver. The only way I'm going to get stabbed from this range is if he uses his stand your ground shout. So this just goes.
Get stab.
I get fairly close. Looks like some sort of stab was popped because our engineer and our guardian, our firebrand, have it. Fortunately, I did not get that, and I immediately just get myself killed from being out of position. Pretty easy to be caught out and die. This is a longer clip, kind of the last one. I'm also on Berserker on this one, but this is definitely a clip to show how your actions can fuck over the whole party, or the whole raid group. You'll see me here get caught out and die and make a bad call out to kind of like to come res me. And people turn around, we get split, and we end up all getting pushed and die. We've been fighting at this keep for a while. This is almost a 3-minute clip before it even starts. So we've been fighting at this keep for a while, actually. There's another commander here.
Give me a lawn CCs in this.
Looks like there's a lot of dead. We're getting ready to push.
Right on top of them.
Getting myself in combat.
Big reflex. Just spec this right here. Girls to
I'm
our
just
right.
chilling. I actually kind of waste my longbow, my burst skill, but we're getting jumped on by pump.
Double dodge back, and then bomb our feet.
I go too far back. I burn all my dodges.
Stand right here in the corner and just bomb. Stand right here and bomb. Big runs.
If you're wondering why my screen's shaking, it's because my F1 is on my mouse button, so when I click it with my thumb, my screen shakes.
One down our feet. Just spike this down.
I'm doing good damage right now. Just my longbow just kind of chilling.
We're gonna bomb on girl in 3.
And you'll see here's where I get split.
Bomb it, bomb it, bomb it, bomb it.
I'm
bomb
a
it.
ways behind.
Everything right here. Just stand in these fucking downs, team. Stand in these fucking downs. Roll
I
through,
try to
roll through,
clear.
roll through. A
I'm
lot of
just
turtles. Got
rooted.
water in
I get.
3, 2,
I call. I'm down right there. If you heard that, it's very quiet. Right? Call that I'm down.
3, 2,
Right there.
1.
And you see the driver comes back.
Can we rest cheek? Can we rest cheek? Can we rest cheek? Everyone's fucking down. All right.
And they're in a really unlucky position with this huge cliff right here. They have to push through. Meanwhile, the rest of the guild thought they were pushing forward towards the yellow tag, so they kept going that way. I have a few friends back here.
Come left.
Engineer
Come through.
tried to help.
Back
Necro
line,
is
back line,
resing
3,
me.
2, 1.
I'm kind of surprised
and
that I got rezzed.
Bomb.
I'm trying to make it back, and I end up dying again, making their efforts useless.
That fucking stab, team. Strip that stab.
It's only 3 of us.
All right.
Yeah.
Damn.
I just got feared off.
And it's a wash, and it's GG. So yeah, I definitely kind of fucked up the whole party there by being slow and reacting poorly. So yeah, if there's any questions or anything about positioning or DPS in general, the only class I don't really know too well is Necro, so I can't really help there. I enjoy looking over replays and stuff, so if you have any questions or any replays you want me to watch, feel free to message me. I just find that stuff super interesting to watch how people play. So yeah, good luck. Good fighting, everybody.